Welcome to the Phil Steele Plus tour for the big rivalry week, Thanksgiving weekend. I've got your plays up for you today. 5 big selections, a nice 4-1 week last week. 5 quick hitters. They're 15-10 the last 6 weeks. The overall selections, by the way, 21-12 the last 7 weeks. And then 2 more FCS plays. I'd like to congratulate Chris for going 5-1 this year on his Ivy League Play of the Week. Nice job, Chris, on that. So let's get right to your final tour, and we'll start off with your first game. Now, I learned my lesson. The last 4 weeks play, we've using dogs, they are 3-1. Last week was Virginia, plus the points over Duke, won outright. And when we've used a dog as the last 4 weeks play, it's gone outstanding 3-1. So let's use another dog here, and you can tell who I'm using. We got North Carolina against North Carolina State. Naturally, I like the dog, North Carolina State, plus the 2.5 here. But let's see why. All right, as we roll it up, we take a look at the last 4 weeks. We see North Carolina State starting to play a lot better. Once again, if you look at the individual player stats, which is right there, you just click there. And remember, I show you a lot of things that you can use on Phil Steele Plus so that you use Phil Steele Plus to the fullest. But as we see here, M.J. Morris had taken over the job, but Brennan Armstrong's done it the last 2 weeks. Now, with Morris at quarterback, they beat Clemson and Miami, but they were actually out first down, 40-21. However, the last 2 weeks, they've been playing a lot better. Look at this, a 19-8 first down edge with Brennan Armstrong, 24-17 first down edge. And Armstrong actually hit 18-26 for 203 yards with 2 touchdowns and ran for 89 yards. He's at the end of his career here, playing it out, and you got to expect his best game might be this one in the rivalry. Now, with North Carolina, and by the way, their last 4 weeks average game grade, 112.3. North Carolina playing at just a 106, including last week's loss, the non-cover against Duke, the upset against Georgia Tech. The last 4 weeks is saying NC State by 9.6, and they're a 2.5-point dog. Now, let's see how North Carolina State does as a home underdog. And once again, all you have to do is click right here. You get the last 10 years results. Now, you know this stuff right here is in the magazine, but all this other stuff is not in the magazine. Versus ranked teams, top 10, conference dog, conference favorite, conference underdog favorite, all that at your fingertips for the last 10 years. But as a home dog, we could see that Dave Dorn, 3-0 the last 3 years. And how about this year? And once again, all you do is click on the Phil Steele Plus menu. And when we go there, we have logs. And we have college logs, not only for the college, but for the FCS. I'll show you a quick thing here. That's every college game this year for the FCS. You got every line. And the FCS playoffs are starting this week. You might want to use that. You also have the NFL ATS logs. So if you want to see who's winning, who's covering, the W or the L refers to who covered the game, not who won it. You have to look at the score to see who won it. The W or L refers to who covered it. And then you have here your college line. So we know that Dave Dorn's 3-0 as a home dog. How's he done this year? Well, they lost to Notre Dame. That would make them 3-1. But covered against Louisville, that's 4-1. Covered against Clemson, that's 5-1. Covered against Miami of Florida, that's 6-1 against the spread as a home dog. And how about North Carolina as an away favorite? Well, let's click on that and take a look. You got it right at your fingertips. Spread records on every team. Come over here. We take a look as an away favorite. We could see 0-2-1, 0-2, 1-3. So that's 1-5, 1-7-1. And if we add in this year, he's 1-1. So 2-8-1 as an away favorite. So you have a poor away favorite. You have a great home dog. You have the last 4 weeks, but you know there's always more. Let's take a look here. And the next thing I want to point out is the series history. And when we look at the series history, we're going to put it back to NC State on the right and slide North Carolina over here a little bit. To find the series history on any game, all you have to do, nope, that's North Carolina, I want NC State, is just click right here on their opponent. And when you click on the opponent, the series history pops up. Now, let me explain this. Over here, if the word is win, that means the home team won the game straight up. If the color is green, that means the home team covered. Over here, if the color is green, that means the team won straight up. Red, they lost straight up. And here, if it's green, that means the team won straight against the spread. Red means they lost against the spread. You don't have to do any math. It's all done for you. What we can see here, though, is that North Carolina State's actually 5-2 straight up the last 7 years. So you've got series history is on our side. And I say straight up. You'll notice some ATS losses there, but they're the underdog. All they have to do is win straight up. And then I want to point out something else to you. And last week, I was a little slow updating the schedule. I think we updated it Saturday morning. But I will have it. I'm on top of my game this week. I'm way ahead. As you can tell, it's Wednesday, and we're putting up Phil Steele Plus. I will actually go through all these tonight, and I will have this completely updated tonight all the way through Week 10. But if we scroll down here and take a look at just the records, we want to go through Week 12, actually. There's Week 10, Week 11. Here we are, Week 12. That's what Week 12 did last week. I've updated these so far. You can see the revenge plays went 2-1 last week. They're now 37-15. And how about the last 4 weeks? A nice 10-5 week again. You could tell how well they're doing here by the tour. 33-20 the last 4 weeks. So I'll have a bunch of last 4 weeks plays for you. It's a bunch of revenge plays this week. It's a big revenge weekend. I'll have all these numbers updated for you to let you know how each of the columns go. And once again, your best bets are the ones in the green boxes. And for previous weeks, if it's a green box with red, that means that the best bet lost. If it's a green box in black with black writing, that means the best bet won. So all that will be updated for you tonight. Todd will load it in first thing Thanksgiving morning. So on Thanksgiving, you'll have all your best bets on Phil Steele Plus. Make sure you check that out. All right, let's get to your next one. And your next game here, I'm going to call it a warm and fuzzy game. Now, that means that you're feeling pretty good about things. And in this one, it is about New Mexico. And how about that New Mexico last week? I watched it. It was late. It started like 10:30 at night, but there wasn't really much doubt in it. New Mexico was a 23.5-point underdog. They not only won outright here for you guys on the tour, 25-17, but look at the yards. 528 to 230, 26 to 13 first downs, absolutely dominated the game. So I'm feeling pretty good about the Lobos. And as I pointed out last week, last year they only averaged 13 points per game, 229 yards per game. This year they switched to UAB's offensive coordinator, and they moved it to double, 26 points per game, 399 yards per game. They are much better offensively this year. This is not the last couple of years New Mexico team, which has struggled to move the ball. But there's more than that here. We take a look at the fact that New Mexico in the last 4 weeks is playing to a 90.9 level. They're at a 91.4. So if you add in the 3-point home edge, it's 93.9. That's saying New Mexico should win the game by 2.5 points. And they're a 6.5-point dog. Now, last year when these two played, and I want to thank collegepressbox.com for allowing us to post the box scores on each and every game. And here, we have them for even past years. This game was a tough loss for New Mexico spread-wise last year. It looks like they lost 27-10, which they did. But it was a lot closer than that. And what I do is every single week, I go through the play-by-play of every single game. And we have them up here on the site so I can go through the play-by-play of every game. But if we take a look at the half, New Mexico actually had the yardage edge and the lead at the half. Then we take a look here at the third quarter. We go down. It's a game. And what happened in here was that New Mexico led 10-7 at the half. Then right here, there was we're in the third quarter, I believe. That's fourth quarter. That's why I couldn't find it. Let's go back to the third quarter. Third quarter, right here, this 4th and 6, that's actually a fake field goal for a touchdown. That gave Utah State the lead. So they benefited from a fake field goal. Then they benefited from this, a fumbled punt return. They recovered right here and got a field goal out of it. Then at the end of the game, New Mexico's still covering. They're going to cover the game. And then look at this. New Mexico's got the ball. It's late in the game. If they punt or if they get stopped on downs, there's no way Utah State drives down and scores. But it's a fumble return 55 yards for a touchdown. So really, New Mexico played a lot closer than the final. They're playing with revenge. They're at home. You got a lot of stuff going for you, and you got to feel good about New Mexico, don't you guys? I know you felt good about them. Probably Sunday morning when you woke up. I don't imagine too many of you are up about 1:30 in the morning watching that game. But that is your warm and fuzzy game of the week. Okay, quick note for you, and that is I'm going to bring this up, the VIP special. Now, I had a disagreement with my good friends at Learfield. Learfield are wonderful folks. They were partners on the Phil Steele magazine. They did a fantastic job this year. If you were a VIP member, you know that, A, we sent the magazine to the press June 7th, And on June 9th, you were reading the magazine on your digital version. The digital version was only available to VIP members for the first month. You couldn't even, if you bought, the digital version wasn't even available, you've bought until the magazine hit the press, unless you were a VIP member. Plus, the VIP members got the magazine before everybody else. As I mentioned, I sent it to the press June 7th. They started rolling off the press about a week later. Kirk from Learfield was mailing these things out to our VIP members. They all had them by about the middle of June. Well, the magazine didn't go on sale at Barnes & Noble, our good friends at Barnes & Noble, until July 4th. So 2 weeks in advance, you had the magazine in your hands. You had the digital magazine in your hands 3 weeks in advance. Plus, you got 4 weeks of Inside the Press Box for free and 4 weeks or Phil Steele Plus from June through September for free. Well, right now, what Learfield did for the VIP special is if you sign up for it right this second, you get Phil Steele Plus from now all the way through September the 24th. I didn't like that. That's giving away too much. We had a great deal as it was. And I said, we got to stop that. So they agreed. They're going to stop it on December 1st. So if you do sign up, you can take advantage of this. I'm going to call it a mistake. I didn't want this, but Learfield put it up. You could get Phil Steele Plus from right now all the way through September 24th. You sign up after December 1st, you get it from June 24th through September 24th. But if you do it right now, you get your entire postseason covered. That includes the NFL playoffs, FCS playoffs, FBS playoffs. But you have to do it by December 1st. I'm getting that offer stopped and ended. But you also get an extra bonus this year in the Phil Steele Bowl and Playoff Digital Guide. We're putting one out this year. It'll have a complete analysis of all the bowl games, all the digital game, or all the FCS games, and that you have to sign up for it by December 10th. So if you sign up by December 1st, you get both of those offers on top of all the great offers from last year, over a $300 value, just $39.95. Take advantage of Learfield's mistake on that. Just go to the Phil Steele store. Let's see if I can do that for you. Go to the home page. When we do that, it should take us to the store, which is right here. And when you go to the store, just go get the VIP and take advantage. There's your VIP pre-order package for $39.95. All right, so now let's move on. Let's get to your third game for the week. And your third game this week, let's click over here. Come on. It's called my revenge game of the week. And we are going to take a look at Oregon on the right and Oregon State on the left. This thing's got a couple things going for it. Now, first of all, you guys know that Oregon State's a fantastic home team. They were 17-1 straight up in ATS prior to last week. And last week, as it was, look at this. They had a 22-14 first down edge against Washington. Just came up short 2 points on the scoreboard. But now 17-2 straight up. However, on the road, not quite the same. In fact, if you look at their road record against the spread, they are just 4-9 against the spread in Pac-12 away games. And they're off a very tough loss. Dan Lanning, let's take a look at him as a home favorite. Dan Lanning last year, 4-1 as a home favorite. 1-0 as a home dog. So that's actually 5-1, at home. And this year, Dan has gone 3-1 at home. So that is, let me make sure I got that right. No, 4-1 at home. So Dan is now 9-2 or 9-3 against the spread as a home favorite here with Oregon. So you got a great home favorite versus a poor away dog. But let's take a look at last week's game a little bit closer. Once again, thank you, Ted Ganji, Pressbox, collegepressbox.com. We take a look at the press box here. And when you look at this game, one thing I want to note, I watched this game a second time over the summer, and it reminded me that Bo Nix was hobbling around. He had a sprained ankle. He was barely able to run. He had 27 of 41 passing, but look at this. He only ran the ball 3 times. He gained 4 yards and lost 5. He had minus 5 yards in rushing for the game. He was not mobile. He was hobbling around. And even with that, let's take a look at the score. I don't have to show you every single play here. I'll just show you the recap up top here. And that is that Oregon actually led this thing. I passed it up. Sorry about that. Oregon led this thing 31-10. Late third quarter. They were up by 21 points late third quarter. Look at this. They lost the game. That cost them a trip to the Pac-12 title game. So you think if they're up by 21 points late third quarter that they let up? I think that all Coach Lanning has to do is say, hey, last year you guys blew a 21-point lead. Against these guys, there is no let up. And this is an Oregon team that I continue to point out. I'll be putting up the AGG. The AGG rankings are up, by the way. Let's go take a look at them because I have not had time to look at them this week. I have been just scrambling around trying to get all my radio and shows put in prior to this week, trying to get inside the press box done. Let's go take a look at the average game grade rank and see who's where. Oregon's number 1, 124.9. Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, right down the line. Who's last? Kent State, 75.4. These are great. And the last 4 weeks, Oregon's still number 1, 130.3. You got to love that. They are playing some great football right now. And all you have to do is look at their stat page right here. And let's go to it, Oregon again. And we see they have a great rushing offense, 6 yards a carry, a great passing offense, 78%. They don't allow any sacks, just 5 all year. Tough run defense and a good pass defense. It gets 31 sacks. This is really a complete Oregon team. So you've got a complete Oregon team that, look at the Arizona State game. They led 42-0 at the half. And use these halftimes, guys. I watch all the games. I write down the halftimes on each and every game all day long. And you find them vital. It really tells you how the game was played. So they led 42-0 at the half, let up a little bit in the second half. They're not going to let up this week against Oregon State. You got the home favorite, poor away dog, your revenge game of the week. We're going with Oregon, minus 13.5 over Oregon State. All right, stay in the Pac-12 for my situational play of the week. And over here, we're going to put Washington on the right, and we're going to put Washington State on the left. Now, I like to go against teams that have the Pac-12 title game on deck. That's what Washington has. It's all wrapped up. They're playing in it. They're undefeated. Even if they lose, they're playing in the Pac-12 title game. So they've got a look ahead going for them this week. Meanwhile, Washington State actually needs a win to get to a bowl game. And remember in Coach Dickert's first year, they upset Washington on the road, 40-13, and that actually won them the job. So they proved they can come in here in Washington and actually win a game. That's what won Jake Dickert his job, and so you got that going for you in this one. But I call it a situational game. Take a look at this. Besides the situation of them needing a win for a bowl and them having the Pac-12 title game on deck and maybe resting some players in the fourth quarter, look at Washington's wins this year. They are by 7, by 3, by 8, by 9, by 10, by 7, by 2. They haven't won a game by more than 10 points the last 7 weeks. And they're laying 16.5, guys. Plus your last 4 weeks average has got 111.1 versus 102. That's calling for Washington to win this game last 4 weeks by 12.8, which is well under the 16.5. So add it all up, your situational play of the week. Washington's also playing with unbeaten pressure, so they're going to be a little tight, and you got a live rivalry underdog here in Washington State. Take Washington State plus 16.5 over Washington. All right, let's get to your situational play number 2. Before I get to it, a quick note. You know what kind of week we had last week, right? And I'll put this up here for you. It's a little short. Anyway, back in week 6, I put out a guarantee here on the Phil Steele Plus tour. We had to hit the 5 selections. We have a winning week, or you get college press box for free. We went 4-1. That was great. And I said, you know what? You guys don't get the guarantee, but if you put the code word guarantee on the site, I will give you my press box plays with a guarantee. So all of you that did it, signed up to my Inside the Press Box, got a discount on the Inside Press Box plays, and got these 5 plays. How about that? 5-0, 100%. We didn't have to pay off on either guarantee, but all you went was 9-1. Well, last week I said, let's do another guarantee on the tour. Guess what? We did the guarantee on the tour, and look at this. 4-1, including that nice New Mexico cover over New Mexico State. Well, let's do it again. I will give you guys a guarantee on my press box plays this week. And you get the Inside Press Box, a single issue, just $15. So that's a discount. This week there are 65 FBS games and 8 FCS games. You get 73 games. That's 21 cents a game, guys. And plus, I'm guaranteeing my 5 best bet selections. I've got 5 of them this week, just like here for this guarantee. Must have a winning week, or you get next week's championship games for free. Don't expect to be getting next week's championship games for free. Let's hope it duplicates what we did last time, a perfect 5-0. All you have to do, go to philsteele.com, click on the Inside the Press Box, single issue. It says $20. You type in the code word guarantee. You get it for $15, and you get the guarantee. 5 plays, must have a winning week or next week's Press Box 3, and hopefully it has the same impact that it did last time, a perfect 5-0. Don't miss out on that. Code word is guarantee. All right, let's get to your fifth play this week, and it is a situational play. It's San Diego State against Fresno State. Going to put San Diego State on the right, Fresno State on the left. All right, and with this game, it is Brady Hoke's final home game. He is retiring. They gave good effort last week. He announced he was retiring. They only got outgained by 55 yards by San Jose State. Only lost the game by 11. But this is at home. The players love him. I expect a big-time effort from San Diego State. But it's not just about that. Let's delve into this a little bit closer. Look at this. Fresno State on the season is minus 76 yards per game in Mountain West play. You wouldn't think that by the fact they're 7-3, but that's almost identical to what San Diego State is, minus 83. That's saying the two teams are fairly even. If you add in the last 4 weeks, Fresno is minus 152 yards the last 4 weeks. San Diego State's actually minus 66. So naturally, the last 4 weeks, AGG has got to play on San Diego State. Now, it'll be one of those best bets when you go Thursday morning and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All the best bets will be up and available on that schedule. And once again, how to get there, I just want to remind you how to get there. You just go to the Phil Steele Plus menu. This is for all that myriad of best bets. And just click right here, schedule with power ratings forecast, and then click right here. This explains what each of the columns is, but when you click here, that takes you right to that file with all those green best bets for you. And that's all just for being a Phil Steele Plus member. But let's get back to this game. You got him retiring. You got the YPG. These two teams have been even in conference play. I like San Diego State. They are getting 5.5. They're at home. I think they send Brady Hoke out a winner. Take San Diego State. Well, let's get to your quick hitters. The quick hitters actually had a poor week last week, guys. 0-3. That drops the record down to 15-10 the last 6 weeks. I got 5 quick hitters for you this week, though. We'll start with the first one. It's a big game. You got Tulane on the right. You got UTSA on the left. It is the battle for the American championship game. Winner gets in, loser is out. Now, UTSA does great in conference play. All you have to do is look up here, see their conference record, 9-0, 8-1. And this year they started out just 1-3. None of those were conference games. You get to conference games, they have dominated. They are 7-0. The only non-cover came against East Carolina here. And as I could show you quickly, it was a backdoor cover. East Carolina got a touchdown with 15 seconds left for the backdoor cover, or else they're undefeated, not only straight up, but against the spread in conference play, plus 100 yards per game. Tulane's been a different story. In conference play this year, Tulane is just 2-5 against the spread. They did get a rare cover last week against FAU, but they're only plus 59 yards per game. So UTSA looks like the better team. They've got the yards per game difference. The last 4 weeks says UTSA by 3.8 here. This says 101. So let's add in a 3-point home edge, 104. This says that UTSA has a 108.6. That is a 4.6 edge to UTSA, and they're getting 3.5. They will be a last 4 weeks best bet. Remember, those last 4 weeks best bets, 10-5 last week, 33-20 the last 4 weeks. Your quick hitter is UTSA, plus 3.5 over Tulane. All right, let's take a look at Coastal Carolina against James Madison. Big game as well. James Madison is on the road. So I should put my home team on the right, Coastal Carolina, put the road team on the left, James Madison. And James Madison's coming off a bubble burst game. They were thinking bowls. They were thinking January 1. They were lobbying. They were going to sue. Guess what? They lost to App State with game day on hand. You're talking about a massive letdown situation. And that lawsuit to get into a bowl game, they said, you know what? Just forget about it. They're done with that. So last year at this time, however, James Madison was angry. They weren't going to a bowl game. Coastal had a big game on deck. They had the championship game for the conference on deck, and Coastal was without their quarterback. Take a look at the individual player stats. You see Grayson McCall. The James Madison game he missed. The Southern Miss game he missed. So they were without their quarterback. They had a backup quarterback with a huge game against Troy on deck. They didn't care about the James Madison game. They went on the road into a beehive, a hornet's nest, and they got walloped 47-7. Now this year they're playing with revenge, and I showed you the revenge plays are 2-1. Let's go check that revenge play. Well, the revenge plays are doing great on the year. I think. Let's let's go find out what the heck that record is on the revenge plays while we're here. Shouldn't be too tough. Right here it is. 37-15 on the year. There will be at least 6 revenge plays, maybe more. They are 37-15 on the year. If you're a Phil Steele Plus member, go to the schedule and get those revenge plays this week. They'll be the ones here down below that are color-coded in green. Those are your revenge plays. 2-1 last week, 37-15 on the year. This is a revenge play right here. Coastal Carolina +9 over James Madison. You know, I thought this game was going to be pick, and at that point, I didn't know who I liked. I was surprised the number is Coastal Carolina at home +9. I thought the game was pick'em. So we're taking Coastal Carolina +9 over James Madison. Your third quick hitter is a series one, and this is UL Monroe against UL Lafayette. UL Lafayette, or Louisiana, I should say, on the right, and UL Monroe is going to be on the left. So let's put UL Monroe over here. This is strictly one that goes way, way back. You know, I mentioned I used to actually run a sports service many, many moons ago, and this was one of my favorite plays every year. I learned my lesson early on in this one that the visitor always covers. So let me show you how this works. You just click right here, and this is like this. Look at how the visitor does. This is, once again, if the word is green, if the word is win, the home team won. If the color is green, the home team covered. The home team is 1, 2, and 3. This is 20 reds here. The visitor is 23 and 1. But it goes back even further. I've showed you how to use this last 26 years matchups, but you can go last 40 years. So the last 26 years matchup took us back through 1999. So here's 1999. Let's look at 1998. At home, UL Monroe -11 did not cover. UL Monroe at Louisiana -6.5 did cover. So it's actually 22-3-1 against the spread. And you go back all the way to 1976 on every team on the site. You've got the last 46 years records. But we're going to go with the visitor, which is great. And here's another thing to point out. Whenever Louisiana's been at home, look at the wins. They've won by 5. They won by 1. They lost by 6. They won by 6. They lost by 7, and they won by 1. They won by 4. So in the last 8 meetings, there hasn't been a game decided by when a game's in Louisiana. When it's in Lafayette, they have not had a game decided by more than 7 points. We're going with UL Monroe +12.5 over Louisiana. Your fourth quick hitter, we take a look at the Ball State Miami of Ohio game. And I talked about it many moons ago. Back in 2019, I was working full-time for ESPN. And I put out a play on there, and I was pretty confident in it. And at the half, I was pretty pleased with it because one of those I shared on TV and all that. I had a lot of pressure on the game, a lot of pressure on the plays. Let's go to it. We got Miami of Ohio on the right, and we got Ball State on the left. My play back in 2019 on ESPN was take Miami of Ohio, and they were just dynamite. They were covering every MAC game that was out there, every one. And they were at Ball State, and the spread was cheap. Let's go see what the spread was. You could look in your magazine and find it, but I'll take a look. 2019 spread on the game. They were at Ball State. They were actually +3.5. And look at all this bold. They were dominating the MAC. You go back 3 years, tremendous record. And here they are getting 3.5 at Ball State. I'm like, I like Miami in this one. So I picked them, used them, but I'll share with you my experience on it. At the half, it was tremendous. We were winning the game, and I'm going to win. There's no doubt about it. Let's go back to 2019 right here. 27-14. Then what happens? There was an injury right at the start of the second half, and all of a sudden, Miami players started coming off the field, one after another, after another, after another. Pretty soon, it was Ball State starters against Miami's backups, and Ball State came back and won the game 41-27. I bring that up because Miami has the MAC title game on deck again. That may happen again. Beating Toledo next week, we give them the MAC championship. By the way, I do not believe they won the MAC championship in 2019. So they didn't. The strategy didn't work then, but they do want to. Let's see if they won it in 19. I'm not even sure if they did. Oh, guess what? The strategy worked. They beat Central Michigan 26-21 as an underdog, I want to point out, in the MAC title game. So do you think he'll use the same strategy again when it worked for him last time? Probably. And this is a Ball State team that's actually playing pretty good. Look at this. Ball State beat Central. They only lost to Bowling Green by 3. We saw how good Bowling Green's been playing last night. At Northern Illinois, they won by 3, a shocker. Kent State, they destroyed them 34-3. In fact, over the last 4 weeks, Ball State is playing to a 98 level in the last 4 weeks' average game grades. Miami's at 97.3. We're going to take Ball State plus 6.5 over Miami. Your final quick hitter before I get to Chris's FCS plays. We're going to take a look at California on the road against UCLA. UCLA's off a big win, sort of a situational play. They really needed that win against UCLA, and now maybe it's a little bit of a letdown spot. Cal actually needs a win to get to a bowl game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They need to get a win here. Cal's always been a great away dog. You know that. They're 16 and 10 as an away dog their last 26. And let's see how UCLA does as a home favorite. As a home favorite, they are 2-3, 4-6, 5-7, 6-10, 6-12. Add in this year, they are 2-3, so they are 8-15 as a home favorite. You have a poor home favorite off a big win versus a strong away dog that needs a win to get to a bowl game, and then the schedule strength. Now, Cal, remember I did a blog this year over the summer about the Big Six, Little Six of the Pac-12. Cal's played and will play after this game all 6 of the Big Six teams. They were Washington, Oregon State, Utah, USC, and Oregon. Look at this match. They played these 4 teams back-to-back and came up with 4 losses. Remember what we did with San Jose State a few weeks back? We had them playing all that tough schedule, and the schedule lightened up. They played better. And then the schedule lightened up. They're playing better. UCLA, guess what? They've only played Utah, Oregon State, and USC. They missed 2 of the Big Six of the Pac-12. So much tougher schedule for Cal. If we take a look here at schedule strength, and this is available for all you Phil Steele Plus members, just click on the menu. We've got team pages, average game grade, projected conference standings, schedule with forecast, which is where you get your best bets, conference yards per game versus conference record. Let's see who's number 1 there. Iowa State. What is this? 2000? Oh, that's last year's. Forget that. That's just cut into this year. But look how that worked out. Iowa State did have a much better year. Your upset meter, experience chart, all conference teams, the injury strength scale, pass efficiency, defense updated. And we also have schedule strength here. Strength of wins, pain of losses. That'll be updated on Thursday. But here's your strength of schedule. And when we take a look there, Cal is 3. Let's find UCLA. They're down here at 62. So a much tougher schedule. You're getting 9 points. Good situation. Good angles. We're going to go with California plus 9 over UCLA. All right, and FCS playoffs start this week. It would have been wise to start them next week, wouldn't it, when there's less games? But they start them this week, so let's go to it. Chris has 2 plays for you. The first one we look at is Gardner Webb against Mercer. We're going to put Mercer on the left. I believe they are the visitor. Nope, they're the home team. So, well, we'll keep it like that for now. We're going to put these guys over here. Gardner Webb. Well, let's go ahead and do it the way we should. We're going to put Gardner Webb on the right. Mercer on the right. Gardner Webb on the left. Here is Mercer on the right. And we put Gardner Webb on the left. And we take a look at it. One thing Chris wanted to point out in this one, the total is 57. Pretty high number. And generally, playoff games, you would think the 2 teams play a little bit tighter. But look at this. Gardner Webb is holding opponents to 18 yards below their season average. Their offense is minus 28 yards below what the opponents normally have. So they are a defensive team. Over here, for Mercer, which gets the game at home, they're holding opponents to 30 yards below their season average. But look at them offensively. They are minus 54 yards on offense. Not a great run game, not a great pass game. You've got a team whose defense is playing well. The offense is below average. Their defense is playing well. Their offense is below average. Chris likes under 57. Another thing I wanted to point out is that Mercer, by the way, has got, if you take a look here, they've got 11 sacks over the last 4 games. They're getting after the quarterback. And is this Mercer? Yeah, that's Mercer. And Gardner Webb has got defensive end Ty French, who's got 17.5 TFL. They have got 24 sacks the last couple of games. So overall, you've got the play is under 57 in Gardner Webb against Mercer. And your final one we'll point out for you, NC Central against Richmond. And for this one, we'll put Richmond on the right, NC Central on the left. And Chris wanted to point these things out. NC Central. Now, they had a great year. They only lost to UCLA. They were doing great. When they lost to Howard, I didn't even know this, that gave Howard the MEAC championship and allowed North Carolina Central to get to the playoffs. And remember North Carolina Central, you guys probably watched the game last year. They were playing Deion Sanders' Jackson State team. They were a large underdog for that. Look how they did in a big playoff game. It wasn't technically a playoff game, but it was a bowl game. They beat Deion Sanders and an unbeatable Jackson State team, 41-35. So they know how to handle this postseason pressure. You take a look over here at Richmond. They've actually opened up against Morgan State, a MEAC team. Lost to them in the opener. This is the same Morgan State team that they beat 59-20. Richmond got here with a solid year in CAA, but they actually avoided playing 3 of the top 25 CAA teams. So they got here schedule strength. North Carolina Central is 6-3 against the spread as an away dog. And once again, all you have to do is click here, and you get your last 6 years spread logs, and then click on the ATS logs. I showed you where to go. You get this year's spread logs as well. Go ahead and research it. You see they're 6-3 against the spread as an away dog with 3 upsets of Colonial teams. So it's MEAC against Colonial. He's taken North Carolina Central plus 4.5 over Richmond. And don't forget to take advantage of the specials I showed you. If you missed them, go back and grab them. And once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour with me. I got it up here for you on Wednesday, so you can watch it over your Thanksgiving holiday and have yourself a great, happy, and safe holiday this Thanksgiving. And thanks for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour.